Hey guys, it is me Romas and welcome back to Katawa Shoujo. This is episode 41? Yeah, I think it's 41. But anyway, in the last episode we kind of spoke to our classmate Miki, and then it was quite surprising actually at the end, in the middle of conversation, Hanako came back to class. And I decided that this episode I want to spend that time with Hanako. It could be 5 seconds, it could be 5 hours, who knows, let's just get into it. Hello. Hi, Hanako, what's up? Nothing. Maybe talking to her this soon after she came back to class was a bad move. Want to come with me and grab something from the cafeteria? I'm pretty hungry. But I thought you were studying. Studying can wait. Turning up for class after all this time must have taken some courage for Hanako, so the least I can do is stay with her. That's just the way she is, and you just have to deal with it. It's the way Miki and probably the class as a whole views Hanako. I can do more for her though. I want to do more for her. After being distracted by Miki, I don't think I'm going to get any work done. Come on, let's go. She hesitates, but eventually gets up and joins me as we begin walking. These may have been small steps for her, but the fact that she's finally out of her room and basically by her own choice, lifts a large weight off my shoulders. Oh look, it was pretty quick. I should have probably just left that in the whole last episode, but whatever. Whatever. My pen busily oh look, we're actually in the Shanghai, it looks like. My pen busily scrawls onto a slowly filling page of my notebook. My other hand remains on the page of a reference book I borrowed from the library, marking my spot as my eyes flicker to and fro. As I work, I occasionally mark red circles or underlines onto the photocopied sheets of paper that lie on the table in front of me. Wanting a change of scenery from the library, and to avoid the distractions of classroom, I decided to make use of the Shanghai for some quiet study time. It ended up being nice and quiet as expected, and being able to get coffee while I study is a nice bonus. Hanako may have returned to her normal self since she came out of her room, but I've done quite the opposite. Daily routine may have returned to us, but I feel as if I'm a different person. Maybe I'm not, it's only been a few days after all, since I decided I wanted to try and get out of the rut I found myself in after my accident, but I wanted to change, and I'm now actively working towards that goal. Or at least, I would like to think that I am. Ugh, this is impossible. Brute forcing this isn't going to work. Oh, hello kitty. I don't know if you heard my cat in the background. I thought she was asleep, but she's decided to wake. Well, whatever. What's more, I have another piece of writing I have to do after this. I fear that's going to be no easier. I look up in mild surprise to the source of the tentative voice. Oh, it's Yuko. Yuko stands at the head of the table with a damp towel in hand, clearly having taken the opportunity to clean tables, while no other patrons were around. She looks curious, her eyes as much on my work as on me. What's the matter? I was just wondering, what sort of work are you having so much trouble with? Oh, it's just history. I'm fine with science and math, so I'm trying to get my other subjects up to par. Yuko looks positively delighted at this development. I feel like I chose just the right answer to being some big quiz show. Oh, I think I can help you with that. If you don't mind, of course. I briefly considered turning down the offer in order to not cause her too much trouble, but she looks too excited about this for me to do it. It would be mean to shoot her down like that after such a reaction. If you're willing to help, I'd really appreciate it. She claps her hands together and quickly deposits her towel on the counter, before returning and taking a seat across from me. I take my notebook off the top of the textbook and hand it over to her for her to pursue. Or peruse, or whatever. So you're studying the... Oh, is that the Edo period? Fuck. See, I never refer to history as periods. I know you're supposed to, but I'm just like, that time. Yeah, I'm not really much good at this, though. She takes the textbook and reads a few pages from a random section near the middle for a bit, but the aura of enthusiasm she'd been radiating previously is rapidly sapping away. I'm guessing this isn't the kind of history you were expecting. Unfortunately not. My main area is European history, especially in the classical era. Sorry. I suppose it's the same for me. I know more about European history because I'm from Europe. I don't really know any Japanese history. I know some American history. I'm quite good at some of the American history, like a bit of the Founding Fathers, but mainly Europe. Mainly British. But we did spend like ages learning about the war and stuff, so yeah. She looks a little downcast, but as she carefully closes the book and lays it back down on the table, her face perks up again. Would you like another cup of coffee? Oh, yeah, sure. I reach forward and get my book back as Yuko gets up, takes my mug and slowly walks to the counter to make another brew. As usual, she's absolutely silent as she does this. Every ounce of her concentration is focused on not tripping over or dropping the plain white mug. I take the opportunity to lay back and relax for a little bit, the hum of the coffee machine filling the otherwise quiet air. It's small details like this which make me realise how much I've come to appreciate the little things in life. The peace and the quiet of the local town, the discipline and order of Yamaku, the green of the trees that were so rare in my home city, the relaxed pace at which the aging residents live their lives. Everything feels so certain. It's comforting. I can feel myself beginning to nod off when the sound of the mug coming to rest on the table grabs my attention. Seems like it arrived not a moment too soon. Yuko takes her previous seat once again as I pick myself up and bring a hand around the mug to check its temperature. It's just a little too hot to drink right away, so I blow on it a little. It's a shame you don't like history all that much. I sort of guessed you'd be more into science. How so? You've nearly read out the science fiction section of the library already. It wasn't hard to notice. Okay, that's it. Yeah, that's a good guess then. You do have a good point there. Well, what can I say? You've pegged me just about right. You sound like the type to take a real... you sound like you really take an interest in history, though especially considering how specific if you were about it. Do you study in that area or something? Go on digs overseas? She giggles nervously at the thought. I'd like to visit the Mediterranean sometime and see the old architecture and art for myself, but I don't think I could trust myself to handle such delicate things. Yeah, that shit is like delicate, that's the thing. I'm saving up to formally study it in university, although I also read up on it whenever I have some time free outside of work. Oh shoot. So, Miki was right about her university aspirations. Considering how she fares as a waitress, a more theoretical path may suit Yuko better. It's nice to hear that she has some ambitions though, considering how hard she works. I nod and take a careful sip of my coffee. By now it's cooled to the right temperature. So I begin to drink while keeping an eye on the book below, trying to read at the same time. A few minutes pass quietly. Yuko looking out the window and watching the world go by while I have my coffee and study. A movement catches my eye and I look up to see Yuko smiling and waving to someone outside. Following her gaze surprisingly reveals that someone to be Hanako. Oh, it's Hanako, is it? She's looking at us from the side of the street across from where we are. Her usually all too visible timidity is largely absent, probably thanks to there being so few people around right now. Evidently, she decides to join us, as after a little wave she gives a quick glance up and down the street and crosses towards the side that the cafe is on. The familiar doorbell to the Shanghai rings out as Hanako enters and makes her way to the table we're sitting at. Hello. Good afternoon. Hey Hanako, what's up? Nothing, just going for a walk. Since the weather was nice. Yeah, I get what you mean. I'm glad I decided to study here instead of the library. It's comfortable in here, thanks to that. Better than the somewhat quite stuffy library. I look to Yuko, who nods in response. It's nice, it's just a shame that summer can't last forever. Oh wait, sorry, would you like a drink? Hanako shakes her head. Thankfully it's enough to calm Yuko back down. How are things going with studying? Okay-ish. Oh yeah, have you talked with Lily? I'm interested too. How is she doing? She's enjoying it, I think. I think that's all we're gonna get out of her. Being around Yuko is tensing her up. It would be nice to travel to Scotland. Green fields, castles, lovely small towns, men in kilts, interesting history. I can't say I see the appeal of men in kilts myself. It does seem like a pretty picturesque place though. As we talk, the jingle of the doorbell rings again. Hanako is startled, noticing Yuko's panicked expression at the prospect that she might have to leave customers to wait a handful of seconds due to her chatter with us. Yuko gives a quick bow, then hastily skitters over and greets the new customers, an elderly man and his wife. I watch her for a bit, craning my head around to get a good view. Hanako is staring at me with her one visible eye. She averts her head in embarrassment as I turn to make eye contact. I was just thinking, it's nice to have ambitions for the future. Yuko was telling me a bit about her university aspirations before. Oh. It's a shame. If she wasn't so neurotic and overworked, I think she would be a really happy person. As much as I'd like to play host to Hanako and entertain her for a bit, I do need to study as well. To be honest, I don't think the distraction from Yuko helped either. Sorry if I'm a bit distracted, I need to try and get this done, otherwise I'm going to flunk the history exams pretty hard. I'm left running my hand through my hair in frustration. That letter needs doing as well once I get back to the dormitory room. I hope I have more luck with this than that, than this. Damn. With what? Oh, I was gonna write to Iwanako. Oh, shit! I was gonna write to Iwanako. Shit, I thought he was just gonna forget about that entirely. Right now, though, this is more important. All I've done is rat on myself. I can't focus on the work in front of me when my stomach is slowly turning to the prospect of actually attempting to write back to her after all this time. I force myself to concentrate on the book. Picking up my pen once again, I have a quick sip of the coffee. After a few seconds, Hanako stops silently watching me and leans back in her seat, relaxing as much as she ever seems to be able to, looking out the window to pass the time. We stay like this for a long time before leaving for the dormitories together. I'm surprised she had the patience to wait me out. Okay. That is going to be the end of the episode, because I feel like what I've just seen is, it looks like Iwanako's letter has just come up. So I feel like that would be a good place to end the episode. But anyway guys, join me in the next episode where I'm guessing we'll be writing back to her. But anyway guys, I shall see you next time.